Howdy folks, Tex here. Welcome to Southern Belle Bigfoot. Let me introduce y'all to a great friend of mine, Selena.
Hey y'all, I'm Selena. I started this channel because I had my own encounter, and I know what it's like to be ridiculed and unable to share my experiences. I want to give everyone a safe haven to share their encounters with these magnificent beings. I love to hear yours as well. Please email them to me at cwlenagarrett@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support me in my journey to the truth, my Cash App is $Selena Bigfoot, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Hey, we made it.
Oh my goodness.
Selena's been fighting some weather gremlins over there, and she is on her phone because their internet on their Wi-Fi has gone wonky. So, but we got her, and Keith is backstage. We're going to get into some Dogman Encounters tonight. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, Tex, again, thank you. Man, I owe you. You have no idea. Yeah, you do have the idea. Lord of mercy. Anyways, I am so sorry. And the print, I can't even tell you. I mean, I can see something moving. Don't even ask me to know who is. If there's a question, blow it up and Tex will handle it. I love each and every one of you. You know that. I love y'all the same. Y'all are so awesome to give me just 1 second out of your day. And the person that sent me the private message a while ago, thank you. I love you too. And the other one, it is always Central Standard Time. So I will see y'all every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Roger, if you're out there, because God knows I can't see nothing. Anyway, but yes, I want to say thank you right quick for my shirt. I appreciate the gift from Brooke Dean, and I appreciate the red shirt from Mike and Sandra Walker for my last show. Y'all have been so wonderful with presents and kind comments. I just love you all so much. You have no idea. But anyways, tonight we have Keith from 1675. Now, if I've got that wrong, Tex, you tell me, but he's been in every chat just about that I've ever had, and I know he supports your show as well.
He does. And he's become, he's not just a face in the chat, name in the chat anymore. He's become a friend. He's become a friend to us, and we're finally going to get to meet. He's coming to the Missouri conference, and me and him are both whiskey drinkers. And Lord help us, because I don't think his wife can keep us from getting into trouble. So, and you think it's bad when a Texan or a Yankee alone gets their party on. Wait till we get mixed up in it. Oh man, I tell you, no, I've come to like Keith a lot, and but like is a strong word. I've come to tolerate Keith a lot. And
y'all pick on each other something awful. I just think he always is keeping me, like, how you doing, Selena? Me and the wife are thinking about you. How's it going? You feeling okay? Yeah. They're just awesome. Yeah. It's like Mickey G.
She's very thoughtful. I love how she makes him say stuff like that, because
she don't make him say stuff. You're terrible. Okay. Well, Mickey G's the same way.
Only because he's not. I don't have him. See, I have the power. I have the power of the button. So he's backstage right now, and I can pick on him because he can't defend himself. But when he gets up there, he's getting a new one. So,
you're so mean. Anyways, y'all listen. I do in my opinion with Selena, and it is on anything. It can be from women's lib all the way down to treat your husbands better kind of thing. It can be multitudes of things. Anyways, but we know that this show particularly, highlights things such as things we don't understand, such as Bigfoot creatures, something that you've seen that can't be explained. And yeah. That's why I can't wait to see Lyle Blackburn and Dr. Jeff Meldrum. They're back to back. We have Sheila and Scott Granger on the 22nd. Keith tonight. So excited about that. Brenda Harrison on the 29th of June. I am so excited about the schedule we have. through July the 20th. And I'm just tickled pink about it because you know me, I love anything scientific. And so it's not just, hey, I seen something, I want to dig in there. Like, tell me what you were feeling. What happened.
Well,
so let's bring him out. Come out, Keith. Come out.
Hank, just pump the brakes. Just pump the brakes there, young lady. I got to say hello to a buddy of mine.
Let me get this straight before you try to boss me around. I sat here and tried to mention Mickey G and tell you how special she is to me and how she's been messaging me even though she ain't feeling good. And you going to jump up there and mention your friend's name? Let's send our love tonight to Mickey G right quick before you send your love to your friend. Love you, Mickey G. Thank you for always checking on me when even you don't feel good. Okay, go ahead, Tex. I want to hear this.
Tommy, I know you're watching. Just wanted to say hello, buddy.
It's breaking his heart because he's in there in the living room.
Well, he can watch it. You can play it for him later.
Yes, he's been signing autographs. He's been so happy. People's been dropping by to get their pictures taken with him. He's had 6 pictures taken with him in the last week, and he has signed 4 autographs so far. It is a good day for Tommy.
Man, I'll tell you what. Well, he deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And I'm just glad that a celebrity like himself took the time out for me to take a picture with me. I'm honored.
I feel the same way. He's a pretty special fella. And remember, all fan mail goes to 735 Riverside Drive, Gadsden, Alabama, 35903.
That's it. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets quite a bit. So let's get Keith up here. Let's get Keith up here. Hello, Keith. How the hell are you?
You're so crazy.
How's everybody doing tonight? Cheers from Michigan.
I have never been to Michigan, but I love to hear people talk.
Now, do you get those pictures I sent you, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, they were beautiful, Keith.
Nice.
They were absolutely beautiful. Okay, how can I do this?
No pictures. I see how it is.
Well, Tex, I don't have your number.
She hit the wrong button.
Yeah, I got to get your number. I'll send you. We went up to Quamanon Falls up in UP this past weekend. It was pretty nice. Definitely Bigfoot country.
Got my number. My number's public, brother.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah, well. Okay.
Yeah.
You hit the wrong button, girl.
No, I'm trying to make my screen big, so I can see at least your faces, and we can forget chat. It looks like
you're right in there.
I got chat. You don't worry about it. You just talk.
Well, just know I love you, everybody.
Because I'm gonna wind you and Keith up and let y'all go because he's a talker, and so are you. And I told him, I said, you're going to be full of questions. So, it's going to be the Selena and Keith show once I shut up. So that's why I'm getting all my digs in real quick.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of Texans. So yeah, let's get on with this.
Well, good barbecue's an acquired taste, and I know you're not used to that up yonder. So I feel you, bro.
Here we go again.
I'm just to throw something at y'all. Now it may not hit you, but I'm gonna throw it.
I'm gonna tell my age here. Do y'all remember? And this is how bad it is at work, folks. If you don't know this, I know we're not talking about Dogman yet. But I made a joke at work the other day. I said, because they were all talking about being frustrated and all this kind of stuff. I said, we need to get us a bunch of TV bricks. Well, back in the 80s, they had foam bricks, and it said TV brick on it. So you could throw it at your TV when you got irritated, right? And I made that joke, and they were just kind of like looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I'll tell you why. Over 2 states, 2 crews, I'm older than anybody by almost 10 years. And one of the guys the other night, my shift partner, in fact, made me feel real good. He walks off. We were talking, and he walks off, and he hollers back down the hallway across the office. He goes, "You're 5 years older than my dad."
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
like,
sorry.
You need to shut up.
Tex, quit making me laugh. Oh my Jesus. Okay. Let's be professional. I can't stop laughing. I can't stop laughing. That's hilarious.
I'm not going to sit. I'll tell you what, Selena. I'm not going to sit here with a good buddy of mine like Keith and a good friend of mine like you and try to be professional. It's just I'm going to have a good time, and so is everybody else involved. So there you go.
I said, listen, we do have a good lineup. And Keith, again, thank you for taking the time. I know you have a lot going on. And my subscribers, for sure, and I know Texas as well, they're good hunted. I mean, their hearts are like humongous. And so we will be praying for you and the spouse and for her health. And make sure she knows Southern Belle Bigfoot loves her, would you?
Oh, she knows. She knows. And Mickey G, she's hanging in there. You know, she's doing her dialysis stuff, and the way that they're doing it is a lot easier. There's no machines required, so she can actually travel. And it's a, even though it's a rough situation that's going on with her or whatever, but you know, it's the easiest thing for the time being. So, you know, it's a blessing.
I had no idea you could travel without a machine doing dialysis. That's really cool, y'all.
Yeah. It's just it's almost like it's just a port that they put in her. It's like on her abdomen, and it's basically like a giant IV bag that pumps into her. It sits overnight, and then she drains it out in the morning. She's good.
Oh my goodness! Well, listen, give her a big hug for me, would you? Thank you so
Done.
much.
Yeah, and Mickey G, get better. I'm not asking. Just do it.
He's not asking. He's telling her, get better. She just is precious. Like she'll have a bad day and call and check on us during her bad day. I just think that's really awesome. And the people that sending me these gifts, y'all are just slap precious. You hear me? And I'm gonna mention your name. I'm like, woohoo! Thank you. Anyways, okay. First of all, I'd like to say that I am looking forward to this story because Keith is he's really cool about, joining in with chat, saying hello to everybody and thinking about others. And so I've been like, I'm really interested in this because I didn't know quite the encounter they had. And I was kind of like getting my hopes up, like, what is it? What's he going to tell us? So let's start off by saying, Keith, I want you to tell me what the encounter was that happened and when and how that went about.
Oh my Lord, this is going to be definitely a 2 or 3 part series. So we'll just try and get what we can in tonight and go from there. Dealing with werewolf type stuff or not vampire, ew, gross. Dealing with Dogman stuff started when I was actually a kid. Talking 1981-ish, 82. I was probably about 7 years old at the time. I made the mistake of watching The Howling. Everybody knows what The Howling is.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So that's how my curiosity with these type of beings started. I didn't know they were real or at the time or whatever. And then about a week after that, my folks and I went camping, and that was my first time camping. And what ended up happening, this was about in the middle of the state here in Michigan, and very isolated campground. You had, I think, an outhouse and a pump. That was it. Nobody for quite a while or quite a ways around you. And later that night, I started hearing howling coming in across from the lake. If anybody's interested, look up Mud Lake, Clare County, Michigan. That'll give you a visual if you like. Anyway, started hearing howling coming from across the lake, and me being a kid and just watching that movie, I got the hell scared out of me about it, and took a while to get to sleep. But as the night progressed, the howling got closer and closer and closer. I finally fell asleep. Well, what ended up happening, luckily they were just coyotes or coyotes, whatever you call them, that had come in. They'd come into the camp and actually decided to try and steal our cooler. So having that type of experience as a kid, yeah, not the greatest, but after that point, they've always stuck in the back of my brain pan for some reason. And I'd never really got back out into the woods until my teenage years. I think I was in high school, actually. And I just stayed away from it. It was always that thing in the back of your head going, they're out there, they're real, they can get you, that type of stuff. And I just stayed out of the woods. And my first encounter, all right, let's get back on this. So we're in high school, and I had a buddy, we'll call him Dave. Dave sounds good. He lived in this area where a lot of these things that I'm going to tell you stem from. And yeah, it's basically he's on one side of the street, they're on the other, literally. He would tell us, oh yeah, I heard this howling at night, and I saw and it started out with, I seen these big dogs and stuff like that running through the fields and by the woods out of the house, whatever. And then they started standing up on 2 feet and all this. We're like, yeah, dude, whatever. You telling me we're watching a freaking werewolf, you know what I'm saying?
You sound like me in the past.
Yeah, because who's going to believe it? I've said it before, and we've heard it on other shows before, is you say stuff like that, people want to put you in a happy room with a bunch of crayons in your lunchbox. So yeah, I did. We just kind of whatever. But anyway, my first encounter with one is when I lived out in Highland, and I think it was summer vacation, my junior year in high school. And let me bring that back a little bit. I don't know if this was necessarily a dogman, which we didn't have that title yet. We didn't know what that was as far as we were concerned. But we used to walk around at night throughout the neighborhoods and, not cause trouble, just have fun running and ducking, hiding from cars. But we went down this side street by where I lived, and we got probably a quarter mile down from it. And it was like thick brush and a little bit of woods in front of this, one of our neighbors' houses. And I heard something rustling in the brush, and I could tell it was something big. I'm thinking deer or something like that. But I could kind of see something moving. There was a house behind it, so I was getting a little bit of the shine from the porch lights. Like, oh, I see this. What is this? And it was about my height. And I had one of those little military angled flashlights that used to come with a blue and a red lens. And what I did is I put the blue and red lens together, kind of made it look like a black light. It was cool, whatever. So I saw where this thing was standing, and all I could see was about from the shoulders up, and couldn't quite get a clear picture of it. It was all black. So me being me, I decided I'm just going to go in there and see what it is. And I got close to it, and light in the right hand, left hand, I clear the brush away. Now at this point, I'm within punching distance of this thing, and I'm looking at it, couldn't really see anything. And I put that little black light on it, and just as I did that, its eyes opened. And again, keep in mind, I'm within punching distance of this thing, and it had these dark, deep, ruby red eyes.
That's just probably about what the eyes were. Good.
Yeah, they're like a deep ruby red, and that's thank God that's the only time I've seen red eyes. But because I heard they have attitudes or whatever, I got theories on that. But the eyes were about 3 to 4 inches apart, and they're about as big as a ping pong ball or a golf ball, kind of oval shaped. Oh, scared the hell out of us. And I backed out of there and took off running to the house. No big deal. And we didn't get chased, didn't get growled at, didn't smell anything weird. But nothing really crazy happened the rest of that summer. Now, into it'd be our senior year of high school. So that's going to be 92, 93, I do believe it was. It was winter. And I let the hound dog out. Now, we had an acre of land, and the guy behind us, he had 25 acres mowed. That was like a golf course, so you could see what was around. Now, backing up to his property, we had a pole barn. I think it was like I don't know, it was like a 40 by 60. It was a decent sized pole barn, and large wood pile by it, a 50-gallon drum burning barrel. Just, anybody that's heard it before, burning barrel, 50-gallon drums, 37 inches. That was on top of cinder blocks, which are 8 inches. So again, like I said before, I suck at math, but it's fairly tall. And I bent down to let my dog out, and I had a hound dog beagle, and she went crazy. I'm like, what in the world is she barking at? And something caught my eye, and I looked up, and would be my first real full Dogman encounter. And what it looked like was, well, its height, its shoulders were at the top of that burning barrel, easy. So it was a good head above that. It was very streamlined, muscular, short hair. It was like a smoky gray, light smoky gray color, short hair. Neighbor down the street had a Great Dane, so it almost had that type of body style, but it had arms. It did not have front legs. And it had I think it had like kind of a long rat tail, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, holy, teenage words come flying out. I tell my buddies about it. They come and look. I pull the dog back inside. We're looking at this thing, and it was standing there like, yeah, look at me. What are you going to do? And they ran and went and got guns. And the crazy thing was, yeah, okay, you're seeing this thing, but its eyes, if it had any reflection, it was from the porch light that I had. Now, this thing's probably 80 to 100 feet away from us. Okay. Yes. And its eyes were glowing this bright, bright white. How I would compare it is like staring at an arc welder. If anybody's made the mistake of doing that, yeah, very bright. It was brighter than what it should have been for just typical eye shine. We've seen deer and whatever out in the woods. Yeah. No, this was beyond that, and it didn't dissipate when it moved. It was almost like they were glowing, be a good way to put it. Now, this thing walked from the burning barrel behind the wood pile. The wood pile's easy, 20-foot tall, large wood pile. It's what we used for heating in the winter. Walked behind the pole barn. My buddies, crazy as they were, they went out there trying to flank this thing. And I ran upstairs to try and get a better view of this. And I didn't see anything, nothing anywhere. Then out of the corner of my eye to my left on that side street, like I'd mentioned earlier, this thing come walking. It was just standing there on the side street. It never got on 2 feet. It was always on 4s. And this thing kind of walked up and waited for me to acknowledge it, basically. Again, its eyes still glowing that bright white. And what it did, it just took off further down the road, and it was going towards our main road, just a 2-lane road. So I ran to the front of the house. I had a 30-06. I grabbed a 30-06 and went out towards the front on the top level of the house. Now, this thing was, I think our lots were about 170 feet wide or so. So you put that in, plus the road, you're not too far away, especially for a 30-06 that, that'd make a mess out of anything at that range. But this thing stood at the corner of that side street. If anybody's interested, Hickory Ridge and Bel Air, if you want to do a Google map thing, there you go. I'm looking at this thing, and I put them crosshairs right between its eyes. And its eyes were glowing bright, but it kind of, after a couple seconds or so of it, it overtook me. Like it was almost, I wouldn't say it was communicating, but it gave the sense that the thing wasn't a threat.
Right.
So I put that rifle down. A lot of people do stupid things when they're scared with firearms. So just have a brain cell or two, basically. But when I did that, I still continued to look at it, and this thing staring right at me just nodded, just kind of went like that, nice and slow. And it turned towards that road, and in a single leap, it kind of squatted down a little bit like a cat would, and in a single leap cleared 2 lanes of road. Now it landed on the side of the road, and there's probably about a 10-15 foot easement on the other side. And then my girlfriend actually lived on the other side. Her folks had a horse stable, horse farm or whatever. So they had the high fence with the wire on top of it. Once that thing hit that easement on the side of the road, it settled itself again and took another on all fours standing leap and cleared that fence and disappeared. And that was the only time I saw that one. So that was senior year in high school.
Jeez.
So that is how this began, and it has been. And don't get me wrong, when I say I see a lot of these, it's not like I can just go out in the woods and magically see one, or I can't go out there every day and see one. If that was the case, I'd charge everybody $10,000 admission to go look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not like that. I'm not into this for my 4.2 seconds of fame or anything like that. It's just my thing is I've been seeing these things since up until last year. Even it's just to spread awareness and saying, hey, there's things out in the woods. Just be careful. I mean, so
that's my reason. Yep. Because I said I had nieces and nephews. You have children?
Me? Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, then y'all know what I mean. If you have children or grandchildren or whatever, yeah. But I have no children. So my puppies is my children, but I do have a lot of nieces, and I mean a lot of nieces and nephews, and they have children, and I just can't stand the thoughts of them going in the woods by themselves now that I've seen with my own eyes one thing that's out there. Just one thing. Let alone the seven.
And by the way, real quick, Brother Jason, the Finster brother, thank you for the Happy Father's Day wishes, brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, well, yes, Happy Father's Day to everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Happy Father's Day. So, golly, Pete, tell me, Keith, I know that had to have a terrible impact on you wandering. Are they around every corner I go around, when I'm outside?
Yeah, and that's when I go out in the woods, if I can now, due to my decline in health here, that was another reason, a major reason why I decided to come forth with a lot of this stuff. I think my first thing was in 2023 when I decided to come forward with a lot of this stuff. Is again, you want to share experiences, give awareness out there, but with the way everything's kind of winding down a little bit, we'll say, I just want to make sure I get that out there and just bring it to people's attention. And those that are going through or have gone through this type of experience, you're not alone. You got a good group of people here out on this. For trademark purposes, I'll just say Island of Misfit Goonies. So
that is really cool. If you don't mind me saying, that is really cool for you to say that your health is declining and you want it to be known and you want the public to be aware that you have creatures that you've seen with your own eyes before. I mean, honestly, I think about that all the time. I do. I'm like, who's going to take care of me when I get older? I have no children. Stuff like that crosses my mind. So I understand what you mean by if I have a decline in health, I want the public to know what I've seen. I want people to know before, something happens. And so that's really cool of you to think, of the public when you have health issues,
Oh, it ain't no thing. I mean, it's just, I ain't going to drop over from it, but it's making it a lot more difficult to get out in the woods and stuff. I would love to go out there humping through the woods and, experiencing stuff like that. But my body's saying no for the time being. So is what it is. But yeah, that's a lot of where this started. And, I was thinking about it the other day, and I never mentioned this, but it didn't hit me until then, and to like a week or two ago, is we used to, the folks used to go up hunting up in, I think it was Elger or something like that up here in the state. And the place that we stayed, the guy that owned the place, he always used to tell me that the Bigfoot would get me. And I was a kid, again, 5, 6 years old, and he was creepy looking, the guy was, so he'd do all these weird Igor faces, and his eyes would bug out. The Bigfoot's going to get you, and he slides on his feet like skis, and he moves fast, and it's like, man, now I'm thinking, was he telling me the truth? Almost 45 years later, I'm like, holy shit. Think about it.
Because you've heard that, they do crawl and get down, and they are very fast when they start doing that. I love to hear Mark and Rebecca Green on Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead, when Mark was saying, when it dropped down on all fours, how quick this thing moved, that it was just unimaginable how fast this thing moved. Well, you can't imagine something so large as a creature to drop down like a spider and be gone that fast. But he said it was gone that fast. And I love Mark Green's, version of that, and telling what happened when he was up at the hunting club and stuff. But anyways, so tell me, Keith, what happened after that that encounter? Did you see it like a year or two later, or was it 10 years later?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into it. And JoJo, no, I've never seen a Bigfoot. I mean, that'd be a rush. I'd like to see one of these days, if, God willing or whatever. But no, I have not. It's just been the wood puppies so far. So, God, that's enough sometimes. But anyway, let's see where I left off. So I left off at the winter time, and then started dating a girl. And then the same guy, we're all friends. And October of 94, it was the week. Oh, shit. I almost forgot the sledding one where I got close. Oh, my God, dude. Brain cells. It was January, I believe it was 94. And my buddy and I, we were up in the woods across from where he was living. There in Highland. And okay, for anybody that's interested, there's there's a remake of the movie Red Dawn that came out in 2012. During one of the scenes, the cabin scenes where the bad guys are trying to lure the kids out of the woods, and they end up deleting their one relative or whatever, that is the place where a lot of this stuff occurred.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so again, it's one of those things that if you wanted to look at it, Red Dawn cabin scene 2012 remake, actually where those kids were laying on behind this one downed log, about 70, 80 feet behind them is where I ran across one in 2019.
Okay, did everybody hear that? The remake of Red Dawn, and it was 2012, and the cabin scene, and behind what was it? The log?
Yeah, there's a handful of the kids, the main characters. They were sitting there kind of huddled up behind a log or whatever, watching the bad guys up by the cabin. The cabin's a whole different entity, but we'll get into that.
Well, I want y'all to know, just by the way, I've never seen Red Dawn in my life. So is it good?
Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad movie.
Very good.
But
okay.
But yeah, so if anybody's interested, that's the thing is where this stuff happened. I love to give people visuals that they can actually, not just imagine, but actually go online or whatever, and YouTube or whatever, and actually see where this stuff occurred with me personally. So anyway, so we're sledding, and for some reason, this was January, I believe it was 94. It was at 4:38 p.m. when I got pretty close to a confirmed Dogman. Now, like I said, the one with the red eyes that I mentioned earlier, I just saw a silhouette, so I mention it, but I don't confirm what that is, if that makes sense. So with this one here, we're sledding, and what happened, as my buddy and I were sledding, we're sitting on top of this hill, and we heard something crunching through the woods, like something landed. Now, what I compare it to is if you watch wildlife videos or you've seen it in person, where either a coyote or a fox will hear a rodent under the snow, and they kind of jump and pounce, and they land real quick. That's what it sounded like, but it was considerably heavier. Now, the first time it happened, it was quite a few feet away from us, and we just kind of looked, and the area, again, it's all wooded, pine tree type stuff. I think they had used that area for lumber before. So, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I was looking at chat. We heard it, and as we went on sledding, we come back, and we're sitting there again. We heard it again, but this time it was closer. And now it's starting to spook us a little bit. And we're trying to look through the trees. There's some thick brush or whatever the case is, but keep in mind it's wintertime, so all the leaves are gone. And we're looking, we just kept back to talking, and Dave, he was getting kind of a little bit nervous. Now he's sitting on my right. This stuff is coming on my left. And all of a sudden we heard it, and it was big, heavy, and close. And I'm like, ooh, and both of us, we did that whole thing where the body just kind of freezes. We got caught, like a kid with his hand in a cookie jar, like, uh-oh. And Dave, he leans past me. Now, he's a big boy. I think he was like 5'7", probably 250. Excuse me. And he leans towards, and he turned pale. He's a Scottish guy. He's, pale as potato anyway, but he leaned past me, and his eyes got really big. They welled up. You could see he started to cry, and he took off down the hill on his sled. He hit a jump, grabbed his sled, and was running before he hit the ground. I'm like, oh shit, like that. And I knew something was there, because out of the corner of my eye, I could see something. It was like a dark brownish gray color. It's kind of mixed as like white-tailed deer in the wintertime. Mm-hmm. Up here, they get a little darker grayish color. It was like that. That's what I thought it was initially. But when I turned my head to it, then I saw the body. Now, very barrel-chested. It was shorter fur, but not like pit bull fur was, real short, but it was quite short. It was enough to, when this thing moved, I could see muscle definition.
Right.
All right. So it is very barrel chested. Its shoulders were at the height of my head, if not just a little bit taller than me sitting on the sled. Now I'm 5'9". So I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, what in the world is it? And it moved a little bit, and then I noticed that it had a mane. I could see part of its head. I couldn't see the muzzle. And it had a mane kind of like a lion's mane, but not as pronounced. It was more slicked back. Right. And it went down about halfway down its body into a V formation. Now, that was a darker...
Is it just me, Tex, or are you loving all this description? I love description. I love definition. I love when you go into detail about all that. So go ahead. I just wanted to thank you.
Well, description is right there when you're about 10 feet away from it. I mean, I kid you not. You're something that big. Its shoulders to its hindquarters, again, and I've said this on other shows too with Tex and Rob and everything like that. I've never noticed a tail. I'm not paying attention to that end. I'm paying attention to the end that will turn me into a bowel movement if it so chooses. So I don't care. I don't care about its tutor. So, so from its shoulders to its rear end, I would say was almost 5 feet. You all right over there, Selena?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay. Okay. So okay. So yeah, it was about 4.5, 5 feet, the length of its body. And if I had to put a weight on it from its definition, the muscle definition, probably 400, 450. This thing was built like a tank. Now, very barrel chested. I don't think any of us could have wrapped our arms around it. And it was kind of hunched down. So How tall it was actually, I don't know. And when it moved, it kind of reminded me of a cat that was going into prowl mode. So it wasn't like totally up like that one was at the burning barrel. This is more scrouched down. So I watched this thing, and it's going to my left, and I'm turning. I'm going like this, and I just barely, right to as far as I could turn, this thing turned towards me. That's when I saw its muzzle and its face. Very thick muzzle, but long. I would say, if I had to give you a description, it'd be like a long, like either like a collie or a German Shepherd, but just the overall girth of, like, say a large Rottweiler. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was decent shape. I never saw teeth, and it's the mane. It kind of come down into its forehead, almost like the classic Dracula look. It was. I hate saying it was cool looking under the circumstances, right. But it was pretty cool looking. But its eyes were completely black. And they had no eye shine to it. They weren't a dull black. It was a very glossy black. I didn't see any brown in it like you would see like with a horse's eyes or anything like that. And I'm looking at this thing, and then what it did is, when I was crouched down, now it crouched down more and kind of shifted its weight again, like a cat would be getting ready to pounce. Yeah, that was my cue. My cue to leave at that point. Yeah. So that was basically Operation Shit and Get at that point. So yeah, I got out of there at that time and stayed out of the woods for quite some time after that. Even going to the parks by me, Indian Springs Metro Park, which I'm still dealing with that one. There's something in there even to this day. There's Kensington Metro Park that's out in like the Milford area, which is the town south of Highland. There's stuff in there, but yeah, I just, for quite a few years, I just stayed out. It's like, okay, that was enough. Now, did I go back up and down those roads? Yeah, I did, in the cars, because, my friends and I, we kind of went from running around at night to, yeah, we'll just stay in the cars and drive around at night and talk about stuff. So 94, same year, it was October, the week before Halloween. Full moon night, cool night. And by this time, we all believed Dave. And the girlfriend I was seeing at the time, which was my first wife, the three of us went out and we were driving around. Now, he had one of those, it was a new body style Dodge pickups that come out, kind of, they look like a mini semi truck or whatever. But we went down this road called Livingston Road. Again, there you go. If somebody wants to look them up, you can see where I'm talking about. And there's one of these state parks is where people would run their horses or run dogs to do training for bird season or whatever. And off to we parked right up in front of the guardrail. And keep in mind, this is not even 2 miles from his house. And we're out there again, full moon night, beautiful night, clear, see everything. And Dave decided he wanted to go down and check out something at this swamp, near this swamp. And it was off to the left trail. And girl and I were just sitting in a truck and we're watching him. And we could see him. He got quite a distance away from us or whatever. He's maybe 150 yards or so. I mean, it wasn't too far, 100 yards. But he got closer down to the swamp on the main trail, and between the main trail and the swamp, there was some brush, tall grass or whatever. But we saw something that caught our eye. It was white, what appeared to be large and white, that kind of come up out of the swamp, and it cleared a little bit of that tall grass. And now Dave, he's still walking. Evidently, he's not hearing this thing or whatever. This thing's like stupid quiet. And it got probably 15, 20 feet away from the main trail, and then it leaped out of the tall grass and landed behind him. Now we got a situation. We got this. It was on all fours, very bulky, It was short and stout, kind of like the one that I was telling you about there with the sledding incident. And it landed behind them. So now we got Dave, Wood Puppy, safe space. So you see the problem we're running into here. So Dave turns around, jumps, he gets all startled, and I don't know if the Dogman or whatever this thing was made a mistake, but when it landed and Dave turned around, it got startled too. And Dave jumped. This thing, you could actually see it kind of do the same thing, and it took off back into the swamp. Dave decides he's going to run back up to the truck. Don't blame him. He pulled himself a Usain Bolt and just flew up this trail. He hurdled the guardrail and hopped in the truck, and we're like, get out of here, get out of here. And he takes off. Now he gets out onto that main road heading back towards his house. And he's doing at that point, he's doing probably 40, 50 miles an hour. And I could see it. I could see the white thing come back out of the swamp, come up that trail, and it disappeared for a couple seconds. I couldn't see it. Then all of a sudden, boom, it just comes up out of this hill, clears the guardrail by like another 20 feet or so. It was moving. It caught up to us. So again, it's when people say these things, when they get low and squatty, they can move fast. Yeah, you're catching up. You're catching up to a vehicle. And he followed us. He followed us for a couple 100 feet or so, and he was far enough behind us that I could see him over the bed of the truck, and I could make him out a little bit here and there from all the dry dirt, dust blowing up. But you could see him, didn't see eye shine or anything like that. But it followed us. He paced us, no problem. It paced us, no problem, for a couple 100 feet, and then just darted off back into the woods.
I've heard of them running right beside trucks as they're going 55 and 60 miles an hour.
Yep. Yeah.
Cannot imagine.
Yeah, it's it's a rush. It really is. I mean, anybody that you can have. I think Tex was asking me about this before. He says, how can you say with, I don't know, not necessarily like an attitude, but yeah, it happens. Those things. It's one of those things. I've been blessed enough and protected enough by the Lord, or guardian angels, or something, that nothing's ever attacked me. And it happens, but there's almost like a respectful vibe that I get from these things. I don't go out plinking them. They don't go out hanging out on my roof, waiting for me to leave the house or anything like that. So
Well, Keith, do you mind? We have like 12 minutes left. I was wondering. Sure. Do you mind telling me your most recent? You said the most recent was 2023. Is that correct?
No, most recent was last year. Actually, it was July 3rd, 9:45 p.m. Yeah, like who's paying attention, right? So, yeah, that was the wife and I. The wife has seen things here and there, and I had forgot to mention this because I forgot about it. But she had a dream, a very bad dream here at the house about like some demonic things were trying to pull her out of the window, like wanting to take her hand and everything. And it scared the hell out of her. So she woke up in the middle of the night. But later that morning, she ended up having to go to work, and she saw, and I guess it would be spiritual form, a large wolf that was about as tall as she is. She's 5'7", and it walked for a few feet here on our property where we're at, and then disappeared. So she
to tell the viewers what you mean by spiritual form, because a lot of viewers are new to this.
Flesh and blood. Okay, everybody knows what flesh and blood is. Spiritual form, this is something that can manifest. I would say, if I had to put my finger on it, maybe something like a ghost or an apparition would be.
Apparition.
But the feeling she got from it was a protector.
Ah.
And after she saw that, no more demon dreams. So let's get back to whatever last year was. I don't even know what century this is. Holy shit. 24. Thank you. Oh my Lord. So July 3rd, 9:45 p.m. We're out on the outskirts of this park, Highland Recreation Area. It's like 5,900 acres. Again, people can look at it. So we're out on, was it Teeple Lake Road? I think it was the name of it. And this is all in this area within a couple miles of each other. And we turn down this road. It's right on the outskirts of where we're going to be camping. Goes down straight for about a quarter mile or so, hard right, and it goes straight for, again, another quarter mile or so. As soon as we turned that hard right, probably about 200 feet in front of us, a wood puppy crossed the road. And this thing was freaking huge. I mean, not necessarily big and muscular. It was still had more of a streamlined body.
Right.
Had a little bit of weight to it, but the length of it covered half the road. And I don't remember if it had a tail. I think that one did. But I'm going, ha ha, like this, like it's right here. Look at Lauren, the wife. She says something. Is that what I think it is? I'm like, yeah, I think it is. But it was easy the length of this, half the width of this dirt road that we were on.
Yeah.
Now the width of the dirt road, two cars can go by.
It's about 12 feet.
You just, yeah. Two cars could go by, and you got a couple feet on each side, so be careful. But so she saw it. I think it was a brown in color. I thought it was a deer first, but the head and the arms, not front legs, arms, and the large hands, like raccoon type hands that you hear people talk about. Yeah, that was the dead giveaway that it was not a deer, but it had the same color. Now I think that what that thing was doing was tracking a couple deer that were actually farther up the road, because as soon as we went through a series of S turns, there was a deer and her baby from that year playing in the middle of the road. So I think that puppy was tracking them. Do I know for sure? No, I don't, because I didn't bother to get out and ask. But that was the most recent. Now, I've heard some stuff recently, but I'm not going to say it was a dog, man. I'm not going to say that, because one, it's out in the woods and I can't see it. I'm definitely not one of those people, like you hear, a twig snapped and all of a sudden it's every other type of cryptid trying to get you. Right. Quick shout out to Eddie and Jen. Hello, guys. Peace and love to the family. Would love to talk to you one of these days. Selena and Tex, they have my email. Feel free to share it to them, Selena, if Eddie and Jen are interested.
Hey, Eddie and Jen, we love you. And, of course, all my regulars. Lord, I could start from A to Z. Y'all know who you are. Love everybody that has tuned in tonight. I love new faces and new names along with my old ones. And don't forget that Central Standard Time, y'all, for our Sunday evening 7:00 p.m. shows, because I did a little short announcement and forgot to add what it's Central Standard Time. So, Alabama time. So, anyways, but is there anything you would like to add, Keith, other than we're going to be keeping you and your family, your wife, in our prayers, and you want to add any last words?
Yeah, just peace and love to everybody in chat, man. You guys are family. Take it or leave it. You're stuck with it. But yeah, we're with here. Yeah, definitely, Eddie. We'll set up something. Again, you can get with any of the people on here on the shows. I don't have social media or anything like that. But Selena, I have a lot more. And, so including a lot of paranormal stuff. If anybody's interested, looking up the show I did, I think it was January with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I got into some of that. Just did one here about a month ago with Brandy and Tex on the Blonde and Boo broadcast. Feel free to check them out. Give them the love. Make sure you guys subscribe to them if you're not. And
they're awesome. Well, they're not
check
awesome.
it out.
And,
yeah, and then if anybody has any questions, that of course, I'm looking at chat, but I keep stopping or whatever. But if anybody has any questions, post show, by all means, leave them in the comments section here, and I'll look over them after the next few days or whatever, and I'll answer what I can. Feel free. And then Selena, like I said, we got another handful of shows. Texas heard this stuff. Some of the people in the chats heard it. Yeah,
I love
anytime.
I'm still waiting for everybody that's already been on here to come back and give their part twos. But what I tell them is, your schedule better than me, and I don't want to keep bothering. You ready? You ready to come on? You ready? That would get on people's nerves and has. So I just decided to
just give me a call. Selena, just give me a call. I'm good anytime. It really don't matter. I'll tell you
my available dates when we talk. Keith, thank you so much, buddy. And please hug again the wife for me. I just love y'all. Okay, everybody in chat, you know how much I love you, and I appreciate your support. And I just think you're awesome. And I could not believe that from yesterday until today. Did y'all see what happened to my subscribers from yesterday to today? I woke up and said, what? I went to sleep and they was totally different numbers this morning in a big way. And I said, oh my gosh, I am like 32 subscribers away from my 1,000. And then, of course, I know it feels crazy. And then also, how many more watch hours text so everybody can go to Southern Belle Bigfoot, turn the volume all the way down, mash my playlist while you sleep all night, and I'll reach my 4,000 hours or whatever I'm supposed to reach.
Yeah.
And so, y'all, thank you so much. I know it's so aggravating to you sometimes when you're tired to come on here, listen to me yap. But again, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Tex, for being always my guardian angel. And hey, I do love that shirt, no joke.
Thanks.
That shirt is pretty cool. I'm not kidding.
I was gonna wear it to Alabama, but it came in the day after I left.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's pretty cool because it adds pizzazz, and it's the color that you would wear, summer through the fall and all that. So anyways, but y'all go check out Texas new apparel and stuff. I mean, it looks like he's got his own clothing line going on. Anyways, so I love everybody. And Selena, don't forget, go ahead, Tex. I'll look while you're talking.
I was gonna put Tommy's brand mail address in the chat.
Oh yes, thank y'all. And it's very important, even if it's just a hello. And you looked good in your shirt, and all that sweet little stuff. Just a little note would mean the world to him. And I thank you all so much for spending the money for an envelope and a stamp and making his little dreams come true. So, anyways, okay. We got Keith tonight, and then Sheila and Scott Granger, law enforcement. That'll be next Sunday. And then Brenda Harris, which, if I'm not mistaken, Brenda is got a lot of experience under her belt with Bigfoot. So, and then, of course, I have an empty spot on the 6th, y'all. If you want to come back for part 2, kids, you're welcome to.
Yeah, no problem.
And then
no biggie.
Live, do what?
Yeah, no problem. Whatever you want. Like I said, we've talked before. You know my situation, so I'm good anytime.
Okay. Well, we have the 6th open. Like I said, I was letting you know you can verify it with me after the show. And then we have Lyle Blackburn on the 13th of July and Dr. Jeff Meldrum on the 20th of July. So y'all can't miss these shows. They're going to be awesome. Every week they get even better. Or maybe that's just me and Tex. Just kidding.
Fine wine, Asian like fine wine, right?
So what's Tommy's fan mail address?
Yes, it is. The address that they write to is, okay, let me get this straight. 735 Riverside Drive. And if anybody can hear my pronouncement of it, is Riverside Drive, Gadsden, Gadsden, Alabama 35903. So,
okay, real quick, give me the zip code again.
35903.
All right, there we go.
Okay. And thank you again, like I said, for your faithfulness, loyalness. Just, I don't know what I would say. Y'all just are awesome. And like I said, Keith, if you want to verify to come for next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll talk in a minute.
I'm sorry, not next Sunday, the 6th of July. Let me know. Okay? Reach out. Love everybody. Come see me next Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.